Why does my dog ignore me when I call him outside? Your dog is far, he sees something, another dog, a runner, a bike, a rabbit, and he freezes. Just for a second, he watches, and in that moment, you already know your dog is gone. You call him back, nothing, no hesitation, not looking back, not hearing you, like you do not exist. You are right there, but your dog completely ignores you. Why does my dog come when called at home but not outside? Why does my dog come when we train, but he ignores me completely when he's doing something different? Because recall at home and recall outside are not the same skill. Look at this. At home, nothing competes with you, but outside, everything does. Your dog is far away doing something or about to do it. He has to reconnect to you in the distance, leave what he's doing, turn around and come back to you with a stability. And it's not that easy. And then it hits. What if something happens? What if the other dog reacts? What if there is a fight? What if my dog runs into the road and your body tightens and you freeze and start running after him? Your stomach drops and you hope it ends well. And when it does end well, you think, I need to train recall more. So you try calling louder, using better food, call him when he's playing with his friend, changing the command, practicing more. But when it matters, nothing changed. And I want to tell you something. I used to work on advertising, but I quit everything and started studying professionally because Yuki, my Japanese Akita, did not have a good recall. And recall is what got me into dog training professionally. And then one day I was going outside and a lady, when I called Kiwi, my dog, in the distance, and she left everything and turned around, boom, quickly and come to me, a lady was like, wow, we do not see this every day. Not just the fact of her coming to me with stability, but the fact of turning around on the distance. And in that moment I realized this is something that all my clients have in common. Because when you see a dog that has been working with me, they have this capacity, the capacity of stop doing, of reconnecting at the distance. And it's something that we have to build. It's not just a recall problem. So it brings us to the question, is my dog's recall broken or is it something else? Probably your recall is not broken, but it was never fully built. And the reason it fades outside has nothing to do with the command, the treat, or how many times you practice. It has to do with 3 specific skills that your dog needs to come back and whether those skills exist yet. Leave, turn, and choose. This is the moment most people think my dog has a recall problem. But there is what is actually happening. Your dog doesn't come back to you, not because he doesn't want to, not because he doesn't know the command, and not because the treat is not good enough. Is that in that moment, your dog is not able to leave what is in front of him, disconnect from the environment, turn around, and come back to you. And those are 3 different skills. And if those skills aren't built, it doesn't matter how many times you call, how much food you give, or how much training you've done. This is not a recall problem, it's a skill gap. When do I actually lose my dog, or why my recall doesn't work no matter how much I train? You do not lose your dog when he runs away. You lose him the moment that he cannot turn back to you. And you see it when you're outside. The running is already the end of the story. The moment that decides everything happened earlier. There is a line I use with the families I work with that changes how they see this completely. You do not lose your dog when he runs away. You lose him the moment he cannot turn back to you. You lose him the moment that he cannot connect with you and turn back to you. When your dog sees something, he stops, and instead of boom, disappearing into it, he turns his head, he looks at you, and his body follows. That is the moment. That's the back to you moment. At that moment, subtle as it is what real recall is built on. Not the command, not the food, not the repetition. That moment of choice, when your dog can leave what is in front of him and choose to come back to you. Do I need to call my dog when he's playing with his friends? Do I need to call my dog when he's super distracted so he learns to come back to me? Why does practicing recall in difficult situations actually make it worse, not better? Because every time you call your dog above his threshold and he doesn't come, you're not building the recall. You're teaching your dog that your voice is a background noise, and when he's activated, you are spending the cue, and the more times that happens, the more automatic the non-response becomes. Remember that behaviors reinforce themselves. So when your dog is learning not to come back to you, he's going to come less and less every time. So I know that you have probably been told that you have to call your dog when he's playing with his best friend, when he's having the best time of his life, but your dog doesn't come. Even though if you have the best treat, the best stick, it's like if you didn't exist. So we have to rewind a little bit and start building these capacities, because here's the mistake that almost everyone makes, and it comes from good advice, that missing one critical piece. The advice is: prove your recall in difficult situations. Practice around distractions. Build it where it matters, and the intention is right. But here's what actually happens when you call your dog and call and call and call, and the moment he's already above the threshold, already locked onto something, already activated, already gone. You're not practicing recall, you're practicing your dog to ignore you. And every time, as we said, you recall your dog in this situation, he's gonna learn not to come. And you're gonna get mad and you're gonna get frustrated, and the loop starts, and then you're gonna end up not letting your dog off leash. And we see it most of the time. So when you have the leash and you think, should I do it? Should I not do it? I know that my dog needs to enjoy off leash, but this is not safe, and you don't dare to unclip the leash. Well, let me tell you something first. If you are not sure that your dog is gonna come back to recall, it's not safe to let him off leash, because your dog can go, you can have an accident, your dog can either be bitten or bite someone, or he can be hit by a car, and it's not safe. So you need to have a good recall. And I'm not telling you not to work it and practice the recall when you need it, because we have different moments to teach recall. But as everything, we have to work first the inner skills, your communication, because recall is very important to have a good communication and a good relationship, knowing that your dog can trust on you, not that you're gonna go running after him to remove the sock out of his mouth. Go to previous episode if you need to. So the more times that happens, that your dog does not come back to the recall, this is going to reinforce the self of not coming back. So you're not building a skill, you're not building a recall, you are spending something that you haven't built yet, and you're gonna get mad and frustrated. How do I train recall so my dog actually comes? What are the 3 skills my dog needs to come back to me? What are the skills my dog needs to come back to recall? Recall is not a command you teach at the end. It's the result of 3 skills you build from the beginning. Leave, which is the capacity to disengage from what is in front of him. Turn, the capacity to reconnect with you even at a distance. And choose, the capacity to choose you, not because you call louder or have food, but because he can, because your dog can. Without those 3 skills, build first, the command, the word that you choose, has nothing to land on. So you have to teach your dog to live, to turn, and choose. And I want to give you an example of one of my professors, Carlos Alfonso López García. He created the method, the cognitive emotional method, and he used to give an example of: imagine that you are 15 years old and you are out having fun with your friends. You're not thinking about your parents. You know that your parents are there, but you are not constantly thinking. All of a sudden, if you are there having fun with your friends and they call you, you're not gonna be so happy. So this is kind of the similar thing. You're gonna be calling your dog when he's doing something far on the distance and he's not thinking about you, he's not paying attention to you, and this is a skill that is hard. So for recall to work, really work when it matters, 3 things have to happen inside your dog: live, turn, and choose. Leave what he has focused on, not get pulled into it, not disappear into it, just let it go. Turn back to you, not stay locked, actually reconnect even at a distance. Choose you, not because you call louder, not because you have food or better food, but because he knows and he can. Those are the 3 skills, and each one has to be built below the threshold, when your dog's brain is able, before you can ever expect him to work above it. Recall is not just a command you teach at the end, it's the result of 3 skills you built from the beginning. Why I keep calling my dog when we're outside and he doesn't listen to me? Why does calling my dog when he's too excited or activated is actually destroying our recall? Because if you keep repeating, let's say that you have said come, and you keep repeating come, it's gonna be on the back of your dog's head. Why do I keep saying come and my dog doesn't come to me when there are distractions? Well, You keep repeating the word again and again and again, and it loses meaning to your dog. It just goes to we have something that is called figures and backgrounds, and your word goes to the background of your head's brain, and he stops listening to you. So just so you know, recall has a beginning and an end, and I have 4 different words for my dog Kiwi to recall. I have come, which means that she comes and sits in front of me. I have vient au pied, she goes around me, sits next to me. I have au pied, she comes and she sits next to me. And I have another one in Spanish, ven, which will be here. She hears it and she can stay around here, not sitting. But recall has a beginning and an end. And if your dog does not learn this structure in a proper way and does it with stability, you're going to be losing the recall more often. And that can be happening also because, for example, if you speak English, most of the people call their dog with come, and come means come, and we used to say come all the time, and it means around here, and sometimes he sits here, and you're going to end up losing it. I'm not telling you to have 4 recalls as I do. I do it because I like it, and everyone does something different, but one has to be here, around here, and the real recall is you leave everything you're doing, you reconnect with me on the distance, you turn back and you come to me and sit in front. I liberate you. And not because of a piece of food, but because you can do it. And until your dog does this, you're not going to be having a good recall. And no matter how many times you work in an environment that we said, no, in a spot that you have practiced the recall, here it works. But when your dog is at level 4 and his log, body tense, eyes fixed, already above the threshold, you call nothing, you call louder and nothing. You run towards him or away from him, trying to break the fixation. And even if he eventually comes, what did you just practice? You practice that recall happens after the word is repeated multiple times, and after I have ignored you completely, and that you run after him, and you end up, this is how we end up in the park, seeing people that go after the dog 30 minutes and not being able to catch him, and then they get sad, frustrated, and the dog really learns to go away and run away and not be there with you. So please try to find a word that you're going to be really using when your dog sits in front of you, and it's not on the background of your dogs making a noise, but your dog can really pay attention to it. Where should I actually practice recall with my dog? You have to start practicing this below the threshold. Where your dog can live, turn and choose are actually possible, where his brain is available to learn, and where every successful back to you moment becomes a deposit, building the skill, and we have a structure to teach the recall. I'm sure that you have tried games where you put some food there and some food there, and your dog has to run from one side to the other, and without stability, this is not training recall, this is driving your dog crazy, and it's not gonna be working, and it's not gonna be giving stability to your dog. Your dog really has to learn that it's coming from point A to point B. And let me tell you something, the hardest part is not going from point A to point B to someone your dog loves for a piece of food. That's the easiest part, running from point A to B to greet you and to have some food and then go away. The hard part is to leave what he's doing, turn to you, sit in front of you or next to you, and wait with stability until you free him. And not because of a piece of food, but because your dog knows that he has to do it. A good moment to practice recall with your dog is that when you're going to be using it. When your dog, for example, has been smelling on the river and you're outside and you tend to do walks on the river with your dog, and he has already played and he's connected to you, start practicing recall there in situations that you're going to be using it, but when your dog can really respond to you, so he's going to be learning. We have evaluators, we have a structure to work recall. If you want to check it, I have a course that is called Back to You, where we practice this. I also have a free guide that you can download. I will leave you the links below of all of this. But recall, that's the important part of recall, that your dog learns to disconnect, leave, turn, and choose you. And that is actually possible if you build it with a structure, not with these games that are going to be driving your dog crazy, running from one place to another for a piece of food. And if you keep trying and training recall with your dog in a secure environment that it's working and it's not working when there are distractions, it's because you are not building the skills your dog needs to be able to connect with you when there are these distractions. And these skills, we build them out of the problematic situation. Remember, you have to build his skills, the skills that he needs to be able to leave, stop, come back, listen to you at the distance. You have to build them outside. And this is the way that you will have a secure and safe recall. What does a real recall looks like when it works? How should be the recall and how can I train the recall? It doesn't look like a dog responding to a command. It doesn't look like a dog coming to grab a piece of food and just going away. It looks like stability. Your dog has to choose to come to you and do it with emotional stability, because we do not want dogs that come, grab the piece of meat and leave running away quickly, because you're going to be losing the recall. As we said, we do not want a recall that is come here and then you do not sit in front of me. You're going to be losing the recall there. And we do not want to be recalling our dogs 1,000 times when we know they are not coming. So you start building your recall with the instructor and you start reinforcing your dog's inner skills below the emotional threshold so he can be paying attention to you. And we can work recall with playing. We can build recall in a moments that are, you can start working it at home. You will have to recall your dog in emotional moments that are safe, that will be similar to the moments that you are going to be using the recall outside. You have to recreate emotional safe moments that are going to have your dog in an emotionally high level, where you can be calling your dog and he's coming back to you. So your recall doesn't go to his background and he doesn't learn to ignore you, and you can be recreating this in safe moments. I have given you many tools already to be able to practice a good recall. And remember that we're looking for emotional stability so your dog can be able to disconnect from you. Probably you're not having if you're practicing recall, it's not that your recall is broken, it's that your dog is missing skills and your dog is missing to rework and practice the recall with the stability that he needs. Is my dog recall failing because my dog is disobedient? Is my dog a bad dog because he doesn't come to recall? My dog doesn't love me because he doesn't come when I call him. What can I do to help my dog come back to recall? What you need to do is you need to build these 3 skills: leave, turn, and choose. And build those, and recall stop being something you hope for it and it becomes something that you can trust. And now that we have been through these 6 episodes together, and in every single one we have been talking about the same thing from different angles. Behavior is not the problem, it's the message. In the last episode of this series, I want to show you what it looks like when you can finally understand that message. When you start seeing what your dog is actually telling you before the explosion, before the reaction, before he ignores you, before the moment everything falls apart. Because that's where everything we've talked about comes together. And that will be in next video.